What's up, friends? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me here again for another movie commentary. Today, checking out another movie that I really love, No Country for Old Men. This is such a fantastic movie. I think this is going to be the third time that I'm watching it, so I'm excited to dig in and analyze it a little bit, but just enjoy watching it with you guys. Hopefully you'll enjoy the video. If you'd like to watch along for the full movie with me, definitely check out my Patreon link in the description. That's where you can find full-length commentaries to this, as well as full-length reactions and commentaries to everything on my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I do commentaries, reactions to movies and TV shows several times a week, so definitely consider subscribing if that's something that you enjoy, and turning on that notification bell so you can know when I upload my next video. This is definitely my favorite Coen brothers film that I've seen. I haven't seen all of their movies, but out of the ones that I have seen, this is definitely far and away my favorite. I just really love the tone, the script, the acting. Anton Chigurh is just one of my favorite villains of all time in movie history, and so I'm excited to rewatch it. Hopefully I'll pick up on a few things that I maybe haven't picked up on before, but definitely if by the end of this you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a thumbs up. That helps the channel, helps the video reach more people, so I appreciate you if you do that, and I'm looking forward to interacting with you all and analyzing this with you guys in the comments. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch No Country for Old Men. Not only is this my favorite Coen brothers, I also think this might have been my first Coen brothers movie as well. I've seen several movies with Javier Bardem, but none of them even come close to this performance for me.
Yes, sir. I got it under control.
Just right off the bat, this movie starts going nuts. His eyes are incredible. Such a great introduction to a villainous character. You know he's done it before and that he's experienced with this kind of thing. And he's just got the coolest weapon, the most unique weapon that I've seen a bad guy use.
What's this about?
I need you to step out of the car, sir.
That freaking smile.
Would you hold still, please, sir?
And just straight up kills him like that. This opening sequence is so good because we learn so much about Chigurh in just a few scenes.
Where's the last guy? Ultimo hombre, last man standing. There must have been one. Where'd he go? What if you stop? You stopped in shade.
In like 10 minutes, the movie has already set up perfectly our protagonist and our antagonist better than most movies do in an hour and a half to 2 hour runtime. The stylistic and directorial choices they use are so simple but so effective. The Coen brothers didn't make this movie with the intention of telling the audience, hey, these guys are who they are because that's what we say. They're who they are because they do such a good job at showing us who they are. And so we as the audience make that decision for ourselves. Oof. So much cash. A lesser director would have made this opening sequence probably much shorter. The Coen brothers chose to take their time so we could get introduced to the characters.
What's in the satchel?
It's full of money.
That'll be the day. Where'd you get the pistol?
At the getting place.
The getting place. I love their relationship. And love the lighting. Love how the Coen brothers play with shadows in this movie. Makes a lot of things seem much more intimidating and ominous. It's weird because I love great soundtracks. I love listening to great soundtracks. I love when they're used well in movies, but then you have these movies like No Country for Old Men that basically have no soundtrack the entire movie, and I love that as well. Shows that there's really no one right way to do it. It's just all about fitting your style and tone of the movie. That would kill. I love lighting like that where you can tell it's natural light. Like you can tell the darkness is real and they're not using set lights to where you can still see certain things. It's just very realistic. Makes it so much more intense. Here comes one of my favorite scenes in a movie of all time.
Y'all getting any rain up your way?
What way would that be?
I seen you was from Dallas.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from?
He's so good. One wrong move just sets him off.
Is something wrong
With what?
with anything?
Is that what you're asking me? Is there something wrong with anything?
Will there be anything else?
You already asked me that.
I love how he just completely controls a situation with his words.
Well, I need to see about closing now.
What time do you close?
Now, we close now.
Now is not a time. What time do you close?
Generally around dark. At dark.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
I love how intimidating he is without like yelling or being too forceful. We've already seen him interact earlier in the movie and kill people, and so just by him talking normal in this scene, we're already intimidated by him.
This is my wife's father's place originally.
You married into it.
Even the rapper gives a great performance in this scene.
The most you ever lost on a coin toss.
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Call it.
Call it.
Yes.
For what?
Just call it.
We need to know what we're calling it for here.
You need to call it. I can't call it for you. It wouldn't be fair.
I didn't put nothing up.
You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it. You know what date is on this coin? 1958. It's been traveling 22 years to get here. And now it's here. And it's either heads or tails.
Brilliant dialogue. Just incredible.
Need to know what I stand to win.
Everything. You stand to win everything. Call it.
Heads, then.
Well done.
I love his complete change of tone after that as well.
Don't put it in your pocket. It's your lucky quarter. What will get mixed in with the others and become just a coin. Which it is.
Love that line, dude. Oh, that scene is incredible. It perfectly sets up his character, his morals, his own personal decision-making process in a matter of like 2 minutes. It's just a normal, simple conversation that holds so much weight because of how smart the dialogue is and how brilliant the acting is. And obviously Javier Bardem just knocks it out of the park, but the shop owner just does an equally great job at acting in that scene. His performance is equally convincing. We don't know at that point in the movie what his purpose of the coin toss is. He could just very well be doing a coin toss just to see if he guesses it right. But as an audience, because of what we've seen so far and the way the filmmaking's done, we assume if he loses the coin toss, he's going to die, just because of the character they've set up. So effective.
Be careful.
Always am.
Don't get hurt.
Never do.
Don't hurt no one.
If you say so.
So many good pieces to this movie. And I know I said Llewellyn's the protagonist earlier. In a way, he's the protagonist, but at the same time, he's not. He's almost a neutral character, whereas Tommy Lee Jones is kind of more of a protagonist, at least the way I see it. Because of that scene earlier, just that simple, unassuming item that he carries around is so terrifying. Such an awesome shot.
Now that's aggravating.
Sheriff?
I'm still sweating.
Oh, Sheriff! We just missed him!
Love the contrast between the two of them. Sitting exactly where
Seen the same things I've seen.
Chigurh stood or sat. I don't know all the interpretation of every scene or every shot. I assume that's to suggest that even though he's experienced and he's a smart sheriff, he's still too many steps behind Chigurh and kind of the younger up-and-coming criminals.
Lab reports from Austin on that boy by the highway.
What was a bullet?
There wasn't no bullet.
With all due respect, that don't make a lot of sense.
Just love his subtle, sarcastic, on-the-nose demeanor.
12 gauge. You need shells?
Yeah, double O.
Oh, that guy's in Get Out, isn't he? He's the black is back in fashion guy. Just got done watching Chernobyl and how frightening the Geiger counters were on that. But this little machine rivals those. Extremely effective use of everyday items and just subtle sound design. Not only in this scene, but in others. Oh, that's so freaking nasty. His arm, half his arm freaking just hangs there.
How'd you find that? No, I'm not.
Don't want to get his jacket messy. I love that before he even knows where other people are, he just shoots behind that little bit of a wall covering there, just in case, because he knows it's a good hiding position. Oh, so brilliant, man. The bloody quarter. If you're not paying attention, if you blink, you'll miss it. That small little insert shot completely changes the way that you view the earlier scene with the gas station attendant. That little shot of the quarter lets you know what exactly he's doing for the coin tosses.
Did I ask you to sit?
No, sir, but you struck me as a man who wouldn't want to waste a chair. I remember dates, names.
That guy's in Get Out too. What the heck? I did not realize there were so many Get Out people in this.
Just how dangerous is he?
He's bad enough you called me. Yeah, he's a psychopathic killer, but so what?
Killed 3 men in Del Rio Motel yesterday and 2 others in that colossal goat out in the desert.
This scene right here is the scene most directors would have done to introduce the villain or tell the audience, hey, this guy's not to be messed with. Whereas this conversation to the audience is rather insignificant. This doesn't add anything new to the audience because what we've already seen, what the Coen brothers have already shown us with their direction, has made him way more intimidating than any lines of dialogue could do.
Here's for you. I ain't asking you to do anything illegal. Someone who's been looking for me. Just call me if anyone else checks in tonight. By anyone, I mean any swinging dick.
For a movie without any soundtrack, without much action or great plot progression per se, this movie just feels like it moves so fast, just going from one place to the next. So effective. The way that it films, the audience knows exactly what's going on, even though all he did was dial a telephone or dial a number on a telephone. The Coen brothers just know what they're doing, man. We all know what's gonna happen. Oh, such an effective scene. Everything about that is so well done. The lighting, the silence besides the subtle beeping noises, to the shot selection.
Don't worry, I ain't gonna hurt you. I need you to drive me on out of here.
Oh, such a good shot. Some people might look at that and be like, well, if Llewellyn is his target, why didn't he shoot him first? But Chigurh knows if he shot Llewellyn, it would have just spooked the driver, who would have just started driving off and been a much harder target to hit. So hits the driver first, even though that's not his real target, because it makes it much harder for Llewellyn to escape.
Look, you gotta give me this money. I got no other reason to protect you. You're not cut out for this. You're just a guy who happened to find those vehicles.
Love how he speaks with such confidence in this scene. Woody Harrelson talks so confidently, even though he ends up being the one to fall to Chigurh.
Of course, they slaughter steers a lot different these days. Use an air gun. Shoots out a little rod about that far into the brain, sucks right back in, animal never knows what hit him.
Love how he just figures out what Chigurh's been doing right there, and he doesn't even realize what he said. Perfect homage to Psycho.
Hello, Carson.
Don't know if that was the intention, but it definitely is very reminiscent of Psycho.
You don't have to do this. I'm a day trader. I could just go home.
Dude was so confident just a few hours ago. Thought he knew everything about Chigurh and that he was the best equipped to handle him.
I know where the satchel is.
If you knew you would have it with you, I know what it's going to be. It will be brought to me and placed at my feet.
You don't know too certainly. You go to hell.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I love that response.
If the rule you followed brought you to this, of what use was the rule?
So beautiful. Perfect dialogue. The most effective phone ringing noise ever. So brilliant. Oh man, I love how long he waits to fire that shot. The tension is just unreal.
You know how this is gonna turn out, don't you?
Nope.
I think you do.
I love those lines are kind of like a subtle jab at the audience as well, saying the audience thinks they know how this is going to go, and Llewellyn gives the hint that nope, we do not know where it's going to go. Oh. Of how he just ignores the other guy.
He gave the Mexicans a receiver.
He felt the more people looking...
That's foolish. You pick the one right tool.
Are you going to shoot me?
That depends. Do you see me?
Oh, such a great
Always
line.
seen this is Woody.
Oh, I love that the scene ends right there as well. Just so perfect. I love for the amount of on-screen shots and violence in this film, there's an equal amount of off-screen deaths and things like that. The off-screen stuff, or when it cuts a scene early like that, is way more effective than the on-screen stuff, which is a great testament to the power of letting the audience's imagination run wild is much more effective than doing the work of imaginating for them.
What's the problem there, neighbor? Yep, that'll suck some power.
You from around here?
Alpine, born and bred.
What airport would you use?
Where you going?
I don't know.
Brother, I've been there. Well, the airport is El Paso. You gonna clamp him, buddy?
Can you get those chicken grates out of the bed?
What are you talking about?
Oh, again, man, with the perfect cutaways. Just shows us 2 seconds of him washing down the bed of the truck, and yet the way it was filmed, the dialogue and everything, we can infer exactly what he did in that situation. Just absolutely beautiful filmmaking.
Looking for what's coming.
Yeah, but no one ever sees that.
Another little subtle hint to the audience that they don't know what they're actually doing with the story. The guts of the Coen brothers to kill off the main character like that, and to do it off screen no less, is just insane, unique storytelling tactics. It's fitting that I just recently watched Pulp Fiction, and when I mentioned I've only seen them kill a main character like that during the movie, I was referring to this movie specifically, so it's fitting that this was the movie I was watching afterwards. But this one did it off screen. The Coen brothers threw in some hints, though, with the dialogue throughout the movie that the audience did not know how the story was going to go.
I'd see children walking the streets of our Texas towns with green hair, cones in their noses.
Signs and wonders. But I think once you...
Love this dialogue.
It's the dismal tide. It is not the one thing.
Not the one thing.
The new day and age is just too fast for them, too beyond comprehension. This is definitely going to be my lifestyle when I'm older.
Got a letter from your wife. Told me you're quitting. Well, all the time you spend trying to get back what's been took from you, more is going out the door. After a while, you just have to try to get a tourniquet on it.
Great metaphor for the theme of the movie. And if I'm interpreting the meaning right from that in relation to the theme, the sheriff feels like his morals, his ideas, the things that his generation held dear is kind of fading away, and he's losing a grasp on kind of policing those ideas and keeping them going. Whereas what this other guy says suggests that there's no way that he can stop that from happening, because every time he tries, it just gets worse. And maybe I'm reaching with that, but I don't know. That's just the thought I have.
I knew this wasn't done with. I ain't got the money.
Again, so effective without using soundtrack.
You got no cause to hurt me.
No, but I gave my word to your husband. Your husband had the opportunity to save you. Instead, he used you to try to save himself.
You don't have to do this.
People always say the same thing. You don't have to do this. This is the best I can do. Call it.
This scene is so much more effective because we've already had a coin toss scene earlier, and that line, "This is the best I can do," suggests that he's bound by a certain code that he gives to himself.
The coin don't have no say. It's just you.
I got here the same way the coin did.
Another unbelievable cut timing. Love the unorthodox cuts of this scene, just moving forward in an atypical way. Love that after all Chigurh can do to maintain a strict method and code and be so precise in everything, he's still affected or ruined per se by random chance. There's so much to unpack with this movie that just goes beyond me even with my third time watching it.
How'd you sleep?
I don't know. Had dreams. Two of them. Both had my father in them. Anyway, the first one I don't remember too well, but the second one, it was like we was both back in the older times, going through the mountains of a night. Rode past me and kept on going, never said nothing going by, just rode on past. When he rode past, I seen he was carrying fire, and in the dream I knew that he was going on ahead. I knew that whenever I got there, he'd be there. And then I woke up.
Brilliant, man. Such rich dialogue. Such an unorthodox way to end a movie like that. And I've watched videos in the past that kind of describe the significance of that last dream telling, but off the top of my head I don't remember exactly what it is or all the meanings, but there's just so much to this movie. I love how much there is to analyze. This movie is just packed from start to finish with incredible scene after incredible scene after incredible scene, filled with so many metaphors, symbolism, just things that it's impossible to pick up after 1 and 2 and even for me 3 viewings. There's just so much to dissect about this film. I loved being able to kind of do more of that when I watched it this time for the commentary for the channel, more so than I usually would do, and definitely picked up on a few more things that I hadn't considered before. Hopefully, as you guys watched along with me, maybe you picked up on a few things as well, but I love how much attention and care the Coen brothers put into this movie, from the script to the direction. There's just an unbelievable amount of talent behind this movie, and I feel like there's meaning in almost every shot. Not just meaning for the plot or the story, but beyond the movie, life applications, stories that apply to us as a country, us as individuals, apply to life in general. There's just so much to this movie, so much more than meets the eye at first glance. I love how this movie not only expects a lot from you as the viewer, it expects you to pay attention and to be ready to pick up on the smallest things if they give you the opportunity, but it also isn't here to just do things or tell us things that we already know. This movie wants to give you a new experience. It wants to teach you stuff. wants to show you things that you haven't seen before, and I love that about this movie. The movie has probably some of the best performances I've ever seen. Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh, for me, is tied with Ledger's Joker as my favorite cinematic villain. He's just flawless in his role in this movie. Just every scene he's in, I'm glued. I barely blink. I'm captivated. He just has such a presence in this movie. He's so intimidating, and I love that he can be intimidating in scenes where seemingly nothing happens, no action happens per se. And that's not only a credit to him as an actor, but a credit to the directors as well. Both Tommy Lee Jones and Josh Brolin, I thought, are brilliant in their roles. Tommy Lee Jones's quick wit and kind of sarcastic, monotonous tone definitely brightens up scenes in contrast from the Chigurh scenes. So I love his acting in this. He just got such a great voice, just beyond his own acting skill. I just like listening to him in movies. He's got a good voice. And Josh Brolin is great as well with his character. I love the subtleties he brings to the role, and even all the supporting cast members, whether it's Llewellyn's wife, I don't remember her actress name, or Woody Harrelson. They all are on the money with their acting. No one brings down a scene when they're in it. And I can't compliment the music because there is none, and that's one of the things I love about this movie. As I mentioned while watching it, I love soundtracks when they're in movies, but at the same time, I love this movie because there is no soundtrack. And that's only because of how effective the rest of the movie is done. They could have easily done no soundtrack and made it completely boring and monotonous and ill-handled, but because of the expertise in filming this, the no soundtrack adds a lot and makes every scene so much more tense and realistic, and really makes you feel like you are there in the scene. And as far as plot and themes and everything go, I feel like while watching it, obviously the YouTube edit won't include everything, but I feel like in the full length, I kind of went over all the thoughts that I wanted to say about the plot and the theme, all the things that I did understand that I could talk about. But there's definitely plenty of YouTube videos as well that kind of go into the themes or the explanations for different scenes. But I love that it's not your straight typical traditional plot. It definitely goes different directions than you expect, whether it's killing off Llewellyn off screen in the middle, and the entire focus of the movie up to that point has been on that bag of money, and all of a sudden the money's gone and it's not important anymore. But yeah, the story continues on, and you realize that the themes and stuff were beyond the story about the money, as we see with Tommy Lee Jones's character, and how there was more meaning to the movie than just a guy chasing another guy for a bag of money. And so I like that about the story and the plot. But again, this is my favorite Coen Brothers movie by far. From the Coen Brothers movies that I have seen, I feel like this is very different from their normal style. Maybe that's why I like it so much. But if you guys like the Coen Brothers, definitely let me know what your favorites are. If your favorites by them are ones that I haven't seen, I'll definitely check them out, especially for the channel. And so I'm looking forward to your comments on the movie, on any of the aspects, on meanings that you get from it. Maybe you think I interpret something wrong. You can let me know about that as well. I know my interpretations aren't perfect. And so I'm looking forward to engaging with you in the comments about this one. There's so much to dissect, so hoping for some great discussion. But if you enjoyed the video, which hopefully you did, definitely consider leaving a like. It definitely helps the channel grow, helps the video reach more people. Appreciate you if you do that. And if you were new, thank you so much for sticking to the end of the video. Appreciate you. Definitely consider subscribing, turning on that notification bell so you can know when I upload my next videos. But I'm excited to continue on watching stuff and enjoying things with you guys. So until the next video, I will see you all later. Peace.